Psych! Gotcha, bitch. I know, there is no they. You're just insecure. Ooh, that's a hard pill to swallow. But please, before you scroll, my darling, today I'm gonna remind you why this is actually the best thing that has ever happened to you. Assalamu alaikum and merry meet and welcome back to your daily dose of DragonFaether. If you are new here, my name is Azura DragonFaether, the Draconic Priestess, and I will be your host for today's debunking of this narrative that everybody's out to get you. Okay, this is absolutely ridiculous. And if you really truly think that you are the real deal, then you will absolutely stay to the end of this video without rage quitting, okay? So I believe in you, you got this. Leave a like on the video if you think you can make it to the end. So today we are just going to jump right on into the reading. We are going to be pulling a card from the Oracle of the DragonFaether by Lucy Cavendish, and this is going to represent the dragon guardian we need to remind ourselves with for when we feel like we're not the real deal. There's so many of us who actually don't feel real at all, and unfortunately that is due to many different traumas and many different consistent systemic denials of your reality, and honestly that is truly so heartbreaking. But ultimately this is the guardian I need you to focus on working with right now, especially to remind yourself how real you really are. So the listener's sacred silence. This is a really good card, number 21, for any of you guys who are into numerology. We have card number 21 here, and this is the listener's sacred silence. You have to listen to your own heart, my darling. Why don't you listen to your own heart? Why do you keep scrolling through these videos after endless scrolling, after endless search for confirmation, when you could make the confirmation yourself simply by listening to your own heart, your own breath? See, when it comes to the sacred silence, many of us are constantly overstimulating ourselves with the content we push in front of our faces, with the chatter that we have in the back of our mind, with trying to make up the come up with the next big thing, right? Like, oh, I must be number one, and etc. It is a cycle of devastation, a cycle of false promises. And the only way to break this is to truly sit with yourself, tune in with yourself, and allow yourself to be in this silence. Ask yourself, do I even feel like the real deal? Chances are you don't. And I'm really sorry to hear that, because the truth is that you are very real. And the fact that you are alive today in the flesh, that means you are the real deal. And if you were not born, then you wouldn't be real, right? I know that sounds super cheeseball, but the truth is that you exist right here, right now, and that is the only blessing that we need to focus on. The only they who can't handle it is this perceived antagonist that you feel like you have to construct for yourself in order to fight, in order to have some sort of opposing force to go up against, when you're really just running from yourself. Why are you running from yourself? Let's figure it out. We have the Tarot of Dragons. I don't remember who the author is. It is by, it is by Sean Mackenzie. Such a good one, okay? So this is what the back of the cards look like. They're so beautiful. But this is Tarot of the Dragons by Sean Mackenzie, and we're gonna see why don't you feel real? Like, what's going on? Like when did this happen, right? Like, when did you start like not feeling real? And like, how can we address this? Because it is something that makes you stay stuck in this cycle of looking for these types of videos that you clicked on today and trying to remind yourself in some way that you are better than, you are protected, you are absolutely untouchable. And unfortunately, this is a coping mechanism, which is totally okay. It's totally understandable and totally normal to have coping mechanisms. The difference is we need to understand how to navigate that, right? We need to understand how to push through that, okay? So here we have the Shaman. This is such a beautiful card. The Shaman in this deck represents the Magician, and in your life, you need to become the shaman. You need to become the magician of your own world. You become the real deal when you pick up your magic, when you pick up your wand. You become the real deal when you start to believe in who you are. Do you understand? You start to become unstoppable. You start to become untouchable. You start to become the main character when you decide to stop looking for what everybody else is doing. Tune into that sacred silence and start being in your magical essence, right? And then we have strength. Look at her. She's going up to a dragon. A warrior going up to a dragon, petting its snout. I'm seeing that you need to connect with your guardians. You need to connect with the higher power, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe it's God, maybe it's dragons, maybe it's deities that I don't know about. Maybe it's spirits, maybe it's ancestors. I don't know your story, right? But you have to understand that it is all about believing that you have the strength to sit in silence and not forgetting that actually sitting in silence is the hardest thing to do and requires the absolute most strength. Do you realize that? Do you realize that being able to turn off your phone, turn off the distractions, and listen to what your heart has to say is something that takes the utmost of strength? Many people, if not most human beings, are incapable of doing this. But you found this video today because I asked God to bring you here. And you have to understand that this is part of the journey. When you embrace your magic, it makes you stronger. But by being stronger, you must have the willpower to face the shit you don't want to deal with. Next, we have the Ten of Cups. Look how beautiful this is. The dragons looking at the Aurora Borealis. There's so many opportunities. There's so many ways to view the same thing. There's so many ways to see the aurora in the sky. Why aren't you looking up? Why aren't you looking up, beautiful? Because you deserve this life. You deserve to feel real. You deserve to feel really happy about it too. And you deserve to believe, you know what, I am the real deal. Why? Because look what you've been through. Leave me a comment what you've been through. Look what you've overcome in your life and look where you are now. Aren't you proud of yourself? Even just a little bit. Even just a little bit. Right? This card is screaming at me. Take the time to celebrate yourself. Take the time to drink your fill of all the magic and wonder that you have cultivated, all of the obstacles that you have overcome. But more than anything, allow yourself to drink your fill, to celebrate you, so you have the strength to sit in the silence you need to embrace who you really, truly are. We have the Queen of Cups. Right? When you sit with your emotions, you become a master alchemist. This is what I tell people who are interested in alchemy. Step 1 is learning how to cry. And if you are unable to cry, ask yourself why. Why can't you cry? Why can't you tap into your emotions? Why can't you feel anything at all? Are you scared? Do you think that it might take you out? Do you think that it might throw you asunder? No. You're just afraid of what might be there on the other side of your pain when you've become so comfortable and so comfortably attached to the trauma that you have. You tell yourself a story. You tell yourself a story about how they can't handle you. You tell yourself a story about how they can't handle that you're the real deal. You tell yourself a story that they will never be me. You tell yourself a story, I am untouchable, when really you're just afraid. And step 1 is honoring that. Step 1 is honoring that and giving yourself mercy and compassion, because it is okay. It is okay to be afraid, right? What did Saphira tell us in Aragon? Let me try that again. What did Saphira tell us in Aragon? For without fear, there cannot be courage. If you are afraid, rejoice, because you have been given the gift of discovering your courage. And you know how you get there? The universe. Look at this beautiful card. The universe in the eye of the dragon. You get there by staring into the depth of your soul. You get there by staring into the eyes of your dragons that hold the galaxies, that hold the mysteries, that hold the knowledge and wisdom that you seek. You're afraid to sit in silence and look into the eye of the dragon, for you are not really sure what's going to peer back at you. But let me tell you a little bit of a secret. The greatest thing and the greatest gift you can give yourself is silence. Sacred, sacred silence, so you can listen. The majority of the issues we have in today's world are, you guessed it, from people not being able to sit down with themselves and accept the fact that, hey, I'm the problem. Right? How am I the asshole? Right? You will never understand the type of mysteries that'll peer back at you when you look deep into the depths of the eye of the dragon, when you look into the darkness, when you look into the void, you peer into those depths. That is where you find the real deal that you are. You don't need me to tell you this, but I'm simply here to remind you that this is your journey. You don't need to worry about them. No. Keep your sacred focus on you. Keep your sacred energy and attention on you. We live in an attention economy. Do you know what that means? That means that the most valuable thing on the planet is your attention. Thank you so very much for honoring me today with your attention, because without it, I wouldn't have the channel that I do, wouldn't have the job that I do, right? Because of you and your attention, you build me up. And look at only a little bit of a fraction of your attention does wonders for me. Can you only imagine what your full, undivided, adoring, devoted attention to yourself will do for you? Can you even fathom it? No, you don't even know. You don't even know. Which is why we need you to keep going, right? We need you to keep going. How can you keep going, right? When you don't feel real, how can you really keep yourself grounded? How can you remind yourself that you belong here? Woo! That was a flyby. Okay, let me go grab that one real quick. So the card that jumped out at us is Wisdom, asking questions. Beautiful, beautiful card. Here, just so you can get a better look at it. This is from the Star Oracle by, it doesn't say who it's by, but they're called the Star Dragons Oracle cards. This is what the back of them looks like. And here's the thing. When you don't know what to do, when you feel completely unreal, when you are completely dissociated, when you're like, who am I? Ask yourself questions. The way you ask questions determines the wisdom, right? Like, here's the thing with me, right? If you haven't joined the Hatchling Clan Discord server yet, please do so. It's the first link in the description down below. And the way that I work on the Hatchling Clan Discord server is my Dragon Guardians basically tell me that I am not able to share things with you guys unless you ask the right questions. This is what it means to tap into your dragon wisdom, right? It's about the questions that you're asking. How good are your questions, right? Because if you're asking yourself, why don't I feel real? That's a really shitty question, okay? Let me explain. A better question is, why is this pattern of me not feeling real so consistent and terrifying? Sounds like a better question, doesn't it? And see, the better you articulate your questions, the better that you seek those answers, and the more that you say, no, I choose to have courage to sit with myself today. No, I choose to have courage to be who I want to be. No, I have courage to show up in my power by surrendering to the things that scare me. For without fear, there cannot be courage. My darling, you are an alchemist. You are an alchemist when you decide to sit and really truly shift that energy from pain into power, from pain into prosperity, from pain into peace. Mwah. Right? And when you do that, it's going to give you time, and it's going to take time, right? And you have to understand that when you don't feel real, you don't just get there by chance, right? You have to understand that this is a series of difficult things that happen in this world that make you feel unreal. Perhaps the way the world is a complete lie compared to what you were told when you were growing up. And of course, that makes you feel like you are not real. This is a video game. This is a dream. What? This doesn't make any sense. It's going to take time to navigate that because it took time for you to get into this condition. Okay, so instead of hating on yourself for feeling unreal, or hating on yourself for feeling like, you know, they're watching you and they're judging you and they can't handle me and my blah, 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 you know, like if you have to like gas your ego up so much in order to feel any type of security, my darling, it's because you are so desperately trying to get control back of your life. Like, here's a hug. Like, honestly, give me a hug, because like that's hard. right? I've been there. Oh, goodness me, I've been there. And the only way that I got out of that was by taking my time. You see, I abandoned this channel for 3 years. I've had my YouTube channel since 2012, January 4th. And I lost everything. I lost the people I loved. I lost the man I thought I was going to marry. I lost family. I lost my children, like my baby little kitten. I lost everything. I lost it. And I was running away from that by doing substances. I was running away from that by endlessly scrolling and consuming these videos that told me that I was superior. That told me that they couldn't handle my rise, right? When in reality, I couldn't handle my feelings. When in reality, I couldn't handle my grief. And if you cannot handle your grief, and you cannot handle your feelings, and you cannot handle your fear, that takes time to deal with. That takes time to sit in the sacred silence and listen to. That takes time to peer into the dragon's eye and see, truly see, what is going on here. But ultimately, it takes time to cultivate care for yourself in the sense that you know in your heart you deserve love and affection. You deserve to have people around you who cheer you on like you are the best. You deserve to have that support system. But in order to find that, guess what you have to do first? In order to stop worrying about the theys of the past that you think can't handle you because you're the real deal, you have to start honoring yourself and the energy that you want to be. You have to start honoring yourself in the standards that you wish and desire for yourself. And you have to be disciplined at saying no to things that you do not want anymore. Break the pattern. You must break the pattern or the cycle will repeat tomorrow. You must break the pattern or the cycle will repeat tomorrow. You must break the pattern or the cycle will repeat tomorrow. Because it's true. And that's why this video is on your screen right now. Because it's here to break the cycle for you. Stop it. You don't need to scroll forever. You just need to put your phone down and remember who the fuck you are. And I want you to understand that you deserve it. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to feel powerful. You deserve to feel confident. But that doesn't happen without taking the time to get there. And it's okay to take your sacred time slowly. One thing that I learned from my Quran teacher, she taught me a really beautiful lesson. She told me, if you want to go fast, go slow. Law of paradox. Mwah. My dragons love her so much. Because she reminds me, every single time I see her, I have class on Mondays, right? Every single time I see her, she reminds me, no, it's the way you carry yourself. No, it's the way you present yourself. No, it's the way that you walk to honor God, right? How do you walk in this life? Are you just wandering? Where are you going? Do you know where you're going? Because if you don't know where you're going, that's where you got to start. And that's how you're going to realize that you already are the real deal, exactly where you need to be right here, right now, and nothing could ever miss you because God created one of you. Just one. Just motherfucking one of you. What a blessing it is to be you, isn't it? I don't care what you think. I want to learn about you. I want to know your story. I want to know what makes you scared. I want to know what makes you feel alive. Let me know in the comments. Because if you feel like you're not valuable, well, let me remind you that you are. I want to know about you. I want to know your story. I want to know who you are and how you got here. Because you are special. You're the only one with this fingerprint, okay? Don't ever let anyone take that away from you. Never. When you feel like someone's going to take it away from you, let's see. This is the Guide to the Dragon Runes by L.V. Blomgren, the Draconic Volvo. That's the deck that we're using today for this particular poll. It's one of my favorite decks. I'm obsessed. And what can we do when we feel like you know, other people are obstacles, or others are trying to push us down, or others are trying to make us forget how ultimately powerful, divine, and magical we are. You know, when people try to change our minds, right? When people try to write the narrative for us, how can we move through that? How can we move through that? Well, let's see. Let's see. We first have diaigoma, which is tainted storm, confusion, accusation, unrest, fear, and tension. There is so much fear and tension around you. You're afraid of people telling you who you are. You're afraid of people hating on you. You're afraid of people disagreeing with you. Conflict, I don't know her. I don't want to know her. Get me the fuck away from it. No, you need that. You need that. Do you think dragons would be dragons without conflict? No. They are masters of conflict. They realize that conflict is an opportunity to alchemize reality into what you desire. That's so good, right? We have the tainted storm, right? This is the storm that you perceive yourself to be, and you think you're stuck. You think you're caught up in this drama. You think that you aren't who you really are. I'm here to remind you that you are who you really are. Okay, wake up, for real. Then we have I'm really bad at pronouncing things in Nordic. It says Nahuthis. This is what it looks like. Okay, and this card says need, constraint, conflict, hardship, traumatic events, life lessons, necessity, endurance, delays, survival, self-reliance, hard times at hand, resistance leading to strength, innovation, and need. This one is here to remind you just how heavy your actual past is. How does it feel to constantly be misunderstood? How does it feel to constantly be ignored? How does it feel to feel like everyone looks through you? How does it feel to have people constantly defining your reality for you and you feel like you're just observing your life from up there? There's this need to reclaim your autonomy. It's a desperate need. It's a desperate fucking need, and that is why you were scrolling on this phone looking for someone to confirm that for you. This is why we consume this kind of content, right? Like, this is why we look at these kinds of readings, right? Is because we feel like there's a void within us that we don't know how to fill, and we're looking for any sort of guidance to get there. That sounds like your soul is hungry. Your soul is hungry to be who you are. But instead, you are more comfortable with scrolling on your phone and having these messages, you know, stroke your ego a little bit. You're more comfortable in that than actually facing the hard shit that you need to in order to cultivate the life that you actually deserve. We have Fen here, which is mountain, rune of White Mountain Dragon Clan, knowledge, ritual, invention, strength. Yeah, it's time to reinvent yourself. It's time to remind yourself that, you know, there was never a mountain in front of you to climb. No, you were the mountain. You were the mountain, rich in minerals. You were the mountain, rich in life. You were the mountain that touches the clouds and the sky. Deeply rooted under the earth. Did you know that mountains move? Did you know that mountains actually ground the earth and stabilize the land? Shout out to the Quran for teaching me that. Right? Alhamdulillah. Because at the end of the day, you have to understand who the fuck you are. And if you don't know your purpose, if you don't know who you are, if you don't know where you're going, if you don't know why, that is where you start. Okay? And if you feel lost, like you're all alone, no, you are not if you found this video. I prayed to God asking anybody who needs guidance, anyone who needs community, anyone who needs to break the spell of this stupid social media bullshit to find this video. Why? Because I give a shit about your mental health. Because I know what it's like to almost lose my life in the void of depression, of grief, of rage and wrath, of pestilence, right? Lastly, we have Abanen, which is sky dream, ascension, nostalgia, contemplation, transition. Yeah. You're nostalgic for your childhood probably, or you're nostalgic for a childhood you never had. You're wishing to go back to simpler times, but that's not how this life works. We don't get to do that. One step at a time moves us forward. You know, it's the contemplation, right? It's the act of consideration, right? Consider this. Who are you? Where are you going? And ultimately, how do you want your future to look? Do you even know? Like, do you even know your standards for your relationships? Do you know what you want in a friend? Do you know what you believe in? What do you believe in? Let me know in the comments, right? Because it took me so long to accept that I believe in dragons and I believe in God, right? Everyone told me I couldn't have both. Yeah, I can, bitch. Watch me, right? And I had to come to terms to that with myself. I had to get to a point where I was like, you know what? No, this is what I am. This is what I want. And this is who I am. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take the life I want. I'm going to live that shit. Alhamdulillah, right? And I'll never let anyone ever tell me otherwise, because I don't deserve that. I just don't, right? Next, we're going to pull a card from the Dragon Oracle cards by Diana Cooper. This is entirely one of my favorite decks ever. It's a great deck to work with if you're trying to learn about different types of elemental dragons. So let's see which guardians want to come through for us to remember who we really truly are and how we can really truly step into that role of being the real deal for ourselves, right? Because it's all about becoming the real deal if you don't feel like it. Chances are you might already be that real deal, but you don't even know, because, like, guess what? You have this preconceived notion of what that looks like for you. So many of us have this, like, definition of, like, what success actually is, right? So let's break into this. First, we have the green gold dragon from Sirius. This brings universal knowledge to your spiritual pathway. Learn about spiritual technology. Be a transmitter of sacred knowledge. Study things that make you excited. For me, I love Islam. I love being Muslim. So my head is always in the Quran, right? Because the Quran teaches me new things every time I pick it up. And my dragons tell me that, like, you must memorize the book in Arabic. That's the job, right? But, like, this is for me and my passion of study, right? Like, what do you love to learn about? Do you like to learn about neuroscience? Do you like to learn about theology? Do you like to learn about the dragons? Like, genuinely, what do you love to learn about? And start sharing what you know. Sometimes your experiences in life are enough of knowledge that you're sitting on and not sharing with people. Why? Why are you afraid to open your mouth? Why are you afraid to show up as you are? No wonder why you don't feel real. You don't even allow yourself to be real. Hello, that's awkward. Then we have Magenta Dragon. This enables you to bring forward your soul wisdom, awaken your soul memories and higher spiritual understanding, prepare for accelerated ascension. Yeah, the only way you're gonna literally ascend to the world, to the life, to the mentality that makes you feel like the real deal is by really tapping into your soul essence and energy and memories. And again, it's all about this discovery of who you are. Who are you? I don't know. Let me know in the comments, right? Because see the fire all around the magenta dragon, right? We have to set ourselves on fire. It's an act of purification with our guardians. Why? Because it burns away what no longer serves us. It burns away the ideologies and the mentalities and the programs that were never ours to begin with. They were put there intentionally to keep us small. You were never meant to be small. Next, we have the Earth and Fire Dragon. Works with you to clear the 5th dimensional ley lines. It's time for service. When you give, you receive. Yeah. This is our next card, the Earth and Fire Dragon. Seemingly two elemental forces that could never coexist, yet they do so well harmoniously. Have you ever heard of lava? That's where fire and earth meet each other. And you have to realize that in order to let the magma flow into new land, into new experiences, you have to have a little bit of an eruption first. You might have to blow the cap off your head. Right? you might need to crash out a little bit. You know what I mean? And like, ultimately, that is something that looks different for everybody. Okay, but the more that you allow yourself to flow to who you really want to be, in the sense of letting yourself get angry, letting yourself get frustrated, letting yourself be human. No, you're not meant to be perfect. Ever, actually. Only God is perfect, right? This is why we have to understand that when the call comes, it's time for you to serve others. That's why we are here. We're here to help each other. We're a social species. We're not an anti-social species, although the media would certainly like to convince you of that, right? Certainly would love to convince you of that. And then we have the Golden Atlantean Dragon. Helps you remember the wisdom of Golden Atlantis. Awaken. Bring back your knowledge, gifts, and talents. Reclaim your mastery. The way you reclaim your gifts and your knowledge and your talents is by sitting in that sacred silence and tapping in to that soul essence of who you are. You are not the skin. You're not the person who looks back at you in the mirror. This is merely a vessel. It's an embodiment. You are so much more beyond this, like, life, okay? Like, your soul is eternal. Why? Nothing can be created nor destroyed, only transmuted, transferred, and transformed. And the way that you're going to do this, I'm hearing, please remember Atlantis. For some reason, this is really important in this reading. I'm not quite certain, but if it resonates with you, please let me know in the comment section why. I'm hearing aquamarine. Literally, we have aquamarine right here. And it's funny because this dragon is holding a giant aquamarine. And it's all about tapping into this crystalline, purifying water that is liquid light. Whoa. Whoa. This is the energy that you should focus on when you're in your still silence. Surround yourself with this type of energy. This crystalline liquid light, okay? And allow it to wash over you. Even when you take a shower, like, visualize the water in the shower, visualize the water in the bath being that crystalline liquid light that purifies your body. Inshallah, you know, like, because you deserve to feel clean, cleansed, and clear, okay? And when you get there, this is the dragon that's truly the one on the path with us. It's golden Christed or Christed dragon. Brings you higher love so that you embody the Christ light. Absorb the Christ light. You are protected. Expand your heart and remain fifth dimensional. This is about Jesus Christ, peace be upon him, right? The Christ light is realizing that we can, like he wasn't the only one, right? Like he taught us how to tap into the Christ-like energy, the Christ consciousness, which is what? Unconditional love, unity, and mercy, with liberty and justice for all. It's about protecting what's precious. You know, if you feel lost, how about you start there by standing up for something that actually matters? How about you start by standing up for people who need your help? Free Palestine, free Congo, free Sudan, right? When was the last time you had a motherfucking backbone for a cause that mattered? No wonder why you feel weak. You're always laying down, always slouching, scrolling on your phone for nothing. There's no exercise, there's no discipline, there's no strength in that. But without fear, there cannot be courage. To stand up, right? If you're afraid, it's time. It's time to stand the fuck up. We are at the precipice of a huge shift on this world, and we need you to stop scrolling, or we all lose. I cannot do this alone. My dear brothers and sisters, I cannot do this alone. My dear brother, sister, friends, I cannot do this alone, right? Because this life is just kind of impossible otherwise, you know? Next, we're going to tap into the Field Guide of Garden Dragons, one of my absolute favorite decks. Who is this by again? I totally forget. Crap, I can't see it. I'm so sorry. I did not make this easy. It is by Arwen Lynch. This is what the box looks like since I've decided to grab it. Absolutely beautiful deck. This is what the cards look like on the back. Oh, love it. Okay, so we're gonna pull a card from this deck to see how we can ground ourselves within courage despite our fears. Okay, how can we ground ourselves in courage despite our fears? My little garden dragons, please let us know how we can ground ourselves despite our motherfucking fears, because it can be really, really scary. Really, really scary out there, okay? Oh, I love this. This is not, okay. Before I show you this, this is not an invitation to do drugs, friends, okay? We have the mushroom dragon, okay? You don't need psychedelics. Bestie, you don't. It's medicine for some people, but please don't abuse that stuff, okay? Like, it can really fry your brain. Unfortunately, I've seen that happen way too many times. But the way that we ground ourselves is through tapping into the mushroom dragon, understanding that when we feel disconnected, when we feel not real, when we feel less than, when we feel unworthy, when we feel lost or frightened, we have to understand that that is simply but an illusion, right? There's something that us Muslims say, like, we fear Allah, right? Like, we only fear God, right? And that is because when we only fear God, then nothing in this dunya or nothing in this world can literally have power over us. You can't control somebody who doesn't fear anything but God, right? So when you are afraid, when you feel like you don't know where to go next, I need you to tap in and understand, my darling, 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 that this life is an illusion. It is. The CIA even said that this life is but a holographic projection. Bitch, you're a hologram. You know, but this is good news. Why? Because this enables you to realize that life is so much more than meets the eye, that meets the ear, that meets what I can touch and smell and taste. This life has so many layers to it that I can't even understand because I don't have the senses to perceive them. This is how we understand this life is but an illusion, right? And by becoming aware of this illusion, we tap into the understanding, the knowing that, hey, guess what? I write the narrative. I write the story. I do. Because when we get like so deep into this, like, oh, like they can't help it, like, oh, they can't handle that I'm the real deal, blah, blah, blah. Like, all that does is distracts you from discovering who you are, and instead is a quick fix, a quick mind-numbing medicine to make you feel better right now. But sure, when you start having questions again, you're gonna need that quick fix pretty soon, or crap, you gotta face yourself, right? So closing out, we're gonna pull some cards. These are, this is the Dragon Magic deck by Lucy Cavendish. We love this deck, and it's really good for getting like messages from dragons. So Guardians, what are some messages that the hatchlings and I need to remember for today? For today, what do the hatchlings and I need to remember? All right, let's figure it out. We have first, dragon tears. Yeah, you need to cry. You need to alchemize that pain into power. First of all, we dragons are free and spontaneous in our emotions. We do not make an enemy of our primal self. We express it in vibrant and invigorating ways. Connect now with your true feelings. Such a beautiful card. This is what the back of the cards look like. So gorgeous. My love, why are you numbing yourself with content? Why are you numbing yourself with food? Why are you numbing yourself with the vape in your hand? No, put the vape down right now. Stop sucking on it while you're watching my videos, please. Because you're just masking your feelings that are hard to process because you were never taught how to feel things in a productive way. You were probably taught to shut the fuck up until it exploded in your face, and then you were blamed for that. Wow. That's cruel. That's weird. That's suspicious. Oh God, okay. Then we have Dragonfire, right? Dragonfire is magical, all right? It says, with it we can reignite the sacred fire that burns within. Let us breathe gently upon this now. Let the healing of the dragon flame within begin. This is what I was talking about a little bit earlier. We set ourselves on Dragonfire because it purifies us. It takes away what no longer serves us and leaves the raw, real, unedited, uncensored, uncut version of who we are, rather than some sort of ideal that we would like to pretend who we are, right? Then we have becoming dragon. To truly live in this life, you must learn how to die within it. Let it go, dear child. You will step forth from the embers, naked and reborn and ready to rule. That's so beautiful. The thing that the dragons teach us is how to die over and over and over and over again. Life, death, rebirth, the Ouroboros. For those who don't know what an Ouroboros is, this is what it is. It's the serpent eating its own tail. And if you have not died 1,000 times yet, start. Because let me tell you something, I have died over and over and over and over again. So much so, I got to a point where I didn't think I'd make it. I didn't think I'd recover. But what this taught me is that this life is but a cycle. This life is but a test, and all I have are my choices, right? All I have is my eyes, how I perceive it. All I have is my heart, how I feel it, right? All I have is my voice, how I sing my truth. And if I deny that to me, then I crumble. And stepping into who I am and who I was always meant to be was a journey of becoming the dragon, the final death to rebirth into who I am now. And honestly, it's never gonna be easy. It'll be the hardest thing you ever have to do. But guess what? After you die 1,000,000 times in this life, you will never be afraid of dying because you already know it's just a cycle, right? Of life, death, and rebirth. Whether it be figuratively or physically, everything must die, but everything must be reborn. That is the nature. And lastly, we have dragon love. Love endures, perseveres, and creates the conditions for growth. We dragons now offer you all you need to create loving bonds that enrich and inspire you. Open your heart wide and be ready to receive. Yeah, my darling, you are the real deal. And you're ready to receive your blessings. And the dragons are so ready for you. Just have to reach for them. God is always there for you. You just have to remember him. The spirits that you work with are always close. They are. However you see the world is how you see the world, right? Like some people might be like, how's a Muslim reading tarot cards? All glory to God, alhamdulillah. Everything is but a reflection of my Lord. This is how I see it. And I see the wisdom in Allah's creation of dragons. I also see the mercy of warning his followers, warning his servants to stay away from the unseen, from the, endless scrolling of tarot readings, from the spirits that you don't know who you're talking to, right? Because a lot of people, if not most people, were not created with the ability to navigate this properly. But the way that you in your life, whoever you may be, whatever it may look like along your journey, you are welcome here. And we will always hold space to love and care for you. That is what we do here with the Hatchling clan. First link in the description if you'd like to join us. Because we know what it's like to be denied a seat at the table. We know what it's like to be forgotten. We know what it's like to not fit anywhere else but together. And this reading today, this message today is one of radical love for yourself. Radical love in the sense that you need to sit down and understand who you are. You need to sit down in the silence and listen. You need to stand up when you're afraid and scream. Scream your truth until you don't have a voice anymore. You're gonna die, right? But instead of letting that fear dictate your life, it's about shifting that into courage to live it unapologetically as you are right here, right now, because every single step you choose to take was created for you. Because this world and life was created by a loving creator for you to enjoy, is what I was going to say before my camera died. So suspicious, guys. You have no idea. That was so crazy. I just got cut off in the middle of a sentence about God, which is insane, by the way. And then it disappeared. Like, literally, it was gone. Like, I was like, Allah, only you could bring this back. And it was gone. So I went to the Hatchling clan Discord server and I jumped in the general chat and I said, no, the video, the best one I've ever made, just died. What do? I feel so sad. But the Sir Pickle Chips, my dragon guardian, we talk about him in the Hatchling clan, so you definitely want to join for getting all the juicy behind the scene details of these videos and episodes. But basically was like, no, it's just a test, keep going. You just gotta make it better, okay? So before I jumped back onto filming, I dropped some nuggets of wisdom that I learned from Pickle Chips in this. And it was basically like, sometimes the hardest, most difficult, devastating dragon trials of our lives are not recorded. And it feels like it never happened sometimes. But the truth is, these experiences that happen when no one's watching sometimes are the most precious, profound, perfect moments of our lives. So if your camera dies in the middle of recording anything, just because no one else sees it doesn't mean it didn't help you and it didn't make a difference in the grand scheme of things. And then I made dua again, like, Allah, only you could bring this back. Nothing is impossible for you. This is my favorite thing about being Muslim. Oh my goodness, Allahu Akbar. Like, nothing's impossible. So if anything seems impossible, I give it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I said, Allah, only you could bring my video back. This was such a perfect video. Like, I was so proud of it, and please bring it back. I was so sad. And then I said, Bismillah, you know, and I hit record to go like film another video, to like re-record the whole thing, right? And there was the video. The whole 44-minute and 55-second video that was gone. Only Allah, Allahu Akbar. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today for your daily dose of DragonFaether. Let me know how the reading resonated, or how you thought this was absolutely awful or batshit insane. Tell me all, okay? Like, don't forget to tell me who you are too in the comment section below. I can't wait to meet you in the Hatchling Clan Discord server. You're definitely gonna want to join us because we are a crazy, wild, fantastic bunch of human beings. And also, don't forget to learn how to practice dragon magic by clicking on this video. It's gonna give you the ground rules of how not to practice first, okay? And what to avoid when you're learning about dragon magic, dragon spirits, being dragonkin, all of that. So don't forget to click that video if you haven't seen it already, but until next time, stay geeky, cheeky, and freaky! A little hatchlings. But I will see you soon and see you around. Thank you for spending some of your day with me today. But until next time, Allah Hafiz, blessed be, Ameen.